So, the alcohol deprivation effect is a phenomenon that was identified in the 1960s when rats were given access to alcohol after a period of abstinence or deprivation. And what they found is that the rats ended up consuming a lot more alcohol after the period of abstinence. This has also been replicated in human studies where people were abstaining from alcohol for a period of time, from days to weeks, and then when they returned to drinking again, they drank in like a binge style. And this does not necessarily just impact people with alcohol use disorder, it can impact other people as well. The reason that this happened is thought to be due to the reward reinforcement that alcohol provides for the brain. That's why alcohol is so addictive, is it just floods our brain with this feel-good hormone, endorphin, and other pleasure hormones. And when we stop drinking and we're not getting that reward anymore, our brain essentially becomes starved of it. And when we're deprived or starved of anything, what happens is we end up craving it more. And so for a lot of people, the longer they are sober or abstinent, the more intense their cravings will become. Also, when you're addicted to alcohol, it literally changes your brain's reward system, which is why quitting drinking can be so difficult. And a lot of people go through the alcohol deprivation period and they end up craving alcohol and end up relapsing. And again, through that process, the brain will continue to crave alcohol potentially for a very long period of time. And if and when somebody does return to drinking, because they have that strong compulsion to drink, they end up drinking a lot more. They end up binge drinking. So the alcohol deprivation effect is thought to be one of the primary reasons why people end up relapsing after they quit drinking, because they just have this strong desire for alcohol that doesn't go away by just quitting alcohol. I think that's why 80% or more of people will end up relapsing after leaving treatment within 6 months. And like it says, the deprivation can undermine even strong intentions to stay sober. I know for me, I've heard it from so many others as well. We genuinely mean we're going to quit drinking. We want to stay sober, but we just can't because the urge to drink is so overwhelming. And so one way to address the alcohol deprivation effect is the treatment I used and that I specialize in, called the Sinclair Method. This treatment is started while somebody is still drinking alcohol. And what it does over time is it helps the brain actually unlearn alcohol addiction by blocking the reward reinforcement that alcohol produces when we drink. Again, that's the primary reason that alcohol is addictive, is because it's very, very pleasurable for our brain. And so when we drink it, we get tons of reward and the brain gets used to getting that reward. But through the Sinclair Method, a medicine is taken before drinking that blunts that reward or mutes it a little bit. And over time, when the brain isn't getting the same level of reward, a lot of people just find that they crave less alcohol, they naturally drink less. And if and when they do drink, they feel like they have control. They can stop and moderate. As someone who struggled with my drinking for nearly 10 years, I wholeheartedly believe that the alcohol deprivation effect was the thing that kept me relapsing and staying stuck in that cycle, because I would try to quit drinking so many times and I'd make it a couple days, weeks, or months, and I'd eventually return to drinking again because the urge became so overwhelming. But with the Sinclair Method, I started it while I was still drinking. I was drinking every day at that point in time, and over time my brain just gradually unlearned the alcohol addiction to where I wasn't thinking about alcohol as much. My cravings started to quiet down and eventually went away completely, and I had control when I drank. I started to have control. And so the alcohol deprivation effect was actually a cornerstone to Dr. David Sinclair's research, who discovered this treatment back in the 90s. And I think it's something that's not talked about enough in alcohol recovery. Like, we're kind of just told, take it one day at a time, white knuckle it, fight it, all of that stuff. But even when we really want it and when we really, really try and put all our effort in, the brain is still hijacked to crave the alcohol. I've had people message me who are years sober and they tell me they still think about drinking every day. To me, that is not freedom from the addiction. You might be alcohol free on the outside, but you're still tortured mentally on the inside. I personally have not drank alcohol since the middle of 2018. I quit drinking through the Sinclair Method after I was on the treatment for a year. And I can honestly say I quit drinking by accident, because I can drink if I want to through this treatment. I just genuinely lost all interest and the desire and craving for alcohol became nothing. And so I have effortlessly not drank since 2018. I don't think about it. I don't miss it. I don't desire it at all. I can be around alcohol. There's alcohol in my house because my husband drinks. He doesn't have a problem. Does not bother me, does not tempt me at all. I've gone through some really difficult life circumstances over that time, and I haven't even once thought about drinking. I've actually thought about it, like trying to force myself, would alcohol sound good right now, just to test how healed I am, and it just does not sound good. The end result of the Sinclair Method is called pharmacological extinction of the alcohol addiction. And when that happens, it takes about 9 months to a year for most people. The brain is essentially restored back to the place it was in before the addiction was ever there. And that's a permanent place that many of us get to through this treatment where, again, we're just not craving alcohol anymore. We don't use the medicine anymore. Most of us don't drink very much. And if and when we do drink, we have total control, or we just don't drink at all because the desire is non-existent. You can learn more about this treatment with the link in my profile or head to my website, thrivealcoholrecovery.com. And by the way, I actually run a private online program in the US that is centered around this treatment. So if you wanted to get started privately from home, you can do that on my website as well.